What's going on, guys? Nathan here. We are in Architect, which means that it is time for yet another goldfishing playtest video. This is the companion video for my Clive Ifrit Dominant Mono Red Burn deck tech. If you haven't already seen that deck tech, check that out. It'll be linked down below. Come watch that video, come back to this video so that you have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish. The game plan is pretty simple. We're looking to play out burn pieces and amplifiers, and then once we run out of cards, refill our hand with Clive's ETB. We will be performing two goldfishing sessions here. The first game will assume very little interaction with our key pieces, and the second game will assume more interaction. I don't think a lot of folks will be targeting Clive because we're mostly playing him for the ETB, but it will mostly be our burn pieces that will receive more of the interaction. So let's hop into the playtester here. We do have, let's see, 3 lands off the bat with a Thought Vessel. This is an absolute perfect opener. Sunspine Lynx is a nice burn piece. Calamity of Cinders is going to be a nice board wipe, and then Overlord of the Boiler Bilges is going to be a 4-drop that we can deal 4 damage to something and hopefully pick off a nice creature. And we'll be keeping track of all of the damage dealt to our opponents throughout the course of the game. The goal will be to deal 20 damage to each opponent, given that we can safely assume that our opponents will take about 20 damage each with various creature swings and things like that. So between 20 and 30, somewhere around there. All right, so let's go ahead and start our first game here. We'll go turn 1. We draw a Neheb, which is a great mana producer, really power us ahead here. Mountain, we don't have a turn 1 play. That is totally fine. Let's go next turn. Fanatic of Mogus is going to be a great burn piece as well. So here I think we want to just go Mountain into Thought Vessel. And the reason we don't play Guildless Commons is because it's just an awkward bit of curve. And if we play Guildless Commons next turn, we can then return a Mountain to our hand. So let's play out, so we'll draw a Wily Goblin on turn 3, which will create a treasure token for us. So let's tap the Mountain, float a red there, and that will go back to our hand as we play the Guildless Common. And then we have 2 mana at our disposal plus the Thought Vessel. So I think what we want to do, given that we don't have really a 3-drop, we're forced to play our Wily Goblin. So in this ETBs, create a treasure, and we will go ahead and create a treasure token right here. And then we'll go next turn and we'll draw mountains. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana potentially. We want to be emptying our hand here and establishing more of our Pip Devotion before we cast Clive. So Fanatic of Mogus, we don't have enough devotion quite yet. Neheb would be really awesome, but we do need a burn piece on board before we want to play out Neheb. So I think Sunspine Lynx or Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, and I think we want to start getting our Overlord ticking down here. So let's play out the Overlord for total of 4 mana there. We can maybe hold on to the treasure for now. So we will impend this, and maybe actually we could just straight up cast it to start dealing damage to our opponents. I kind of like that plan as well. Sunspine Lynx we typically might want to save as well, so I think the play here is probably just to use the 6 mana for the Overlord. So let's actually do that. So Overlord will ETB, deal 4 damage to any target, and then it will also do that when it attacks, which is awesome. Let's go next turn here. So we've dealt 4 damage to our opponents. So let's go Mountain. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the Amplifier Mechanized Warfare is a pretty good draw here, and let's see, so a 6 mana, I think if we play out Neheb, we could add 4 mana and then play out the Mechanized Warfare on our second main. We could also play out the Fanatic of Mogus on our second main with the Neheb mana as well. So maybe what we do here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we play out our Neheb. So that's going to have Afflict 3. It's a 4/6 at the beginning of our post-combat main phase. Add red for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Let's attack with the Boiler Bilges. That gets in for 4 damage. We have now dealt 8 damage to our opponents. And then Neheb is going to, let's assume that this is blocked. I think that's a pretty safe assumption, given that it does not have trample. But that could also affect how much mana we could make off of Neheb here. But let's be just a little bit conservative with our estimates. Given that we can attack with 4 damage, it's actually not unreasonable that we could attack an opponent that doesn't have a blocker. So Neheb in our post main phase is going to make 4 mana based on that Overlord trigger if we were to burn face. So then we will go ahead and drop. I think we want to drop. Do we want the Phonetic Emojis, because that would trigger for that would deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage each to each opponent. I think we might want to do Mechanized Warfare first, and then we can go Sunspine into Fanatic next turn, perhaps, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana we would have. We wouldn't have enough, but we could have more with the Neheb mana. So let's go Mechanized Warfare, actually. And so now our devotion is up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's drop a mountain there. And then I think we go Sunspine links into Sunspine links. So I guess it really depends on how much mana we want to make with Neheb here. Fanatic Emojis will definitely make us like a bajillion amount of mana. So I think we do that first, although yeah, I think we do that so that we can play out both Sunspine links and our commander. So if we go 1, let's see, 2, 3, 4, let's go Fanatic of Emojis, which will deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage plus 1, so 10 damage to each of our opponents. And then as we go into combat, Overlord will attack, and that will generate another 4 damage to somebody's face. So that's going to be 30 plus 4 is 34 mana, 35 with Mechanized Warfare. And even if we assume that Wily Goblin had to block here, let's just assume that he maybe died on somebody else's turn. So maybe let's actually, well, let's actually lower this down here by 6, just assuming that the Wily Goblin has already blocked. So that puts us down to 29 total damage. So then in our second main phase, Neheb will trigger to add around 29 mana to our mana pool. So I think we want to go Sunspine links, enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls, which is going to be +1 with the Mechanized Warfare. Then we can also tap out 29 plus -4, -7, -6. Yeah, so I think we have enough. So I think we will convoke our fellows here for a Calamity of Cinders to deal 6 damage to each untapped creature, wipe our opponent's boards, and then now we can also use our remaining mana to play Clive. So when he ETBs, we're going to discard our hand, the draw cards equal to our devotion to red. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So draw 11 cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we will discard down to hand size. So we're just going to ditch pretty much every mountain except for 1, I believe, just so we have another land play. I mean, we can also maybe discard the decanter there because we already have a Thought Vessel on board, getting rid of our max hand size. And then as we go into next turn, so we drop our mountain, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage here, and then we have a Mana Geyser, so then, you know, we'll add another, usually we can Mana Geyser for like 12-ish mana, something like that, to, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12 mana, so if we have like 15 mana ready to go, we can do Gratuitous Violence. We can also do a Volcanic Torrent here, or maybe actually what we do is we go the Invasion of Karsus. And then, let's see, to each Planeswalker. So that would get rid of our Fanatic of Emojis if we wipe the board with Invasion of Karsus. And, yeah, so that won't affect our board. So then the goal would be to have this enter under the control of our opponents. We'll swing at it to then flip it. So if we can do our card actions here, we will flip the card. And that will flip into, oh, this is awkward, a Refraction. Oh man, this is real awkward. Okay, so Architect is a little buggy with how battles work right now. A Refraction Elemental, when you cast a spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. And if we were to have our Gratuitous Violence on the battlefield, so that would be, let's see, so the Karsus cost us, I think, 4 So it would be 12, so that would be, we'd down to 8, plus the gratuitous violence. We'd be down to 3 mana remaining, I believe. Then we could do a Razorkin Needlehead, sure, why not? Potentially, we could play out a Shiny Impetus as well if we needed to get rid of a big scary threat on board. But this is going to then deal, gratuitous violence will double the damage that Refraction Elemental will deal, so it will deal, with the Razorkin Needlehead cast, it will then deal 4 damage to each opponent. We can swing for 4 with the Overlord, which is then doubled to 8. Neheb will trigger for a bunch of damage, and then these are also being amplified with the Mechanized Warfare. And then, you know, if we have any remaining mana, depending on how much mana Geyser is able to tap for, we can then flip Clive, remove something into Ifrit, Warden of Inferno, get rid of something, add some mana, etc., etc. So honestly, I think we were able to accomplish our mission by around turn 7, definitely turn 8, because if we were to pass the turn here, we could then play out, you know, Ragavan, Volcanic Torrent. Let's just see what we would cascade into. For the funsies, a Defiler of Instinct, just adding more pips to our board here, dealing damage to our opponents, which is then upped by 1 with the Mechanized Warfare, and then doubled with Gratuitous Violence, or I guess doubled, then upped by 1. That, I think, is victory by turn 8. Let's start a new game here, and that didn't even have any of our creature burn payoffs, interestingly enough. That was more of a big mana play here. So I have a hand here with only 1 land and a Soul Ring, and that is definitely a for sure mulligan. So here we have 3 lands, which is not bad. We have a removal piece with Shiny Impetus. General Crete is going to be burning our opponents on creature ETB. Oh, we have 4 lands here with Abstergo Entertainment. Did not see that at first. And then we have a Noise Marine to remove something off the board. So let's go Mountain. And by the way, we'll go turn 1. Let's be that guy. We're just going to drop a turn 1 Soul Ring. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do, because I actually think that turn 1 Soul Ring is too easy. So what I'm going to do is actually just shuffle this away into the deck to give you guys a more realistic picture of how this deck will perform. Soul Ring is just too easy. It just is. So let's go turn 2. Then we will play, let's see, I think we want to drop a Mountain here, and we've got our board wipe in hand. Is there anything for 2 mana? I don't think so. So let's go turn 3. We can play out a Mountain here, and now we have some, let's see, so we could drop the General Crete, but we don't really have a creature to follow it up with next turn, and plus the Invasion of Karsus will wipe the board anyway, by dealing 3 damage to each creature and each Planeswalker. So here I think we actually might just want to assume we have to drop a Shiny Impetus, because it will also ramp us. So assuming that we then go to next turn, let's say Shiny Impetus grants us a treasure here, which I don't think is entirely unreasonable. We will drop our Mountain for turn 4. It could be pretty easy here. I think we could go, I think we actually drop the Invasion of Karsus first, because then we can start dropping our burn payoffs after that. So let's go Invasion of Karsus, deals 3 damage to each creature and each Planeswalker. We'll just assume that our Shiny Impetus has to go away after that. This enters under the control of an opponent, and that's going to cost us 4 mana. Let's go next turn 5. We have nothing to remove here, so don't really need to worry about our opponents interacting. So let's go Abstergo Entertainment. We're looking to flip the battle. We have a total of 6 mana. Noise Marine would have a cascade into a removal effect as well, but I would like to get the General Crete on board. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and then General Crete, and then we go, so let's go Voldarn Epicure. So that's going to deal 1 damage to each opponent, and then another with the General Crete, and we will create ourselves a blood token, so that will ETB, and we're holding on to that treasure once again. So let's go next. Okay, Neheb again. Neheb is just an absolute beast here. So let's tap Abstergo Entertainment first of all, and I think we're going to tap that for mana. We're going to float a colorless. Arid Archway will enter and return the Abstergo back to our hand. I think we kind of want Noise Marine here, because our pips are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, and we kind of want some bodies on board to trigger with General Crete. But I will say Neheb is always just a beast once it hits the battlefield. So if we are floating a colorless, I think we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the floating colorless for Neheb. This is just an absolute insane card. Let's assume in our opponent's turns we have to block with the Voldarn Epicure, and we're never going to block with General Crete to keep it on board. Do we crack the treasure to draw and or discard and draw? I don't think we need to. And then I think if we had Neheb enter with General Crete, then Neheb would add 3 mana to our mana pool on our second main, assuming that it does survive. And with that 3 mana, we can then play out a Sulfuric Vortex to deal 2 damage to each player on that player's upkeep, and then it turns off life gain. Then we'll go next turn. Okay, perfect. So Abstergo Entertainment, we're going to tap the Arid Archway for a Thought Vessel. Well, we could even go Clive on our second main phase if we get a bunch of mana with Neheb as well. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play out our Noise Marine. It does have a Cascade trigger, so we will go ahead and Cascade into Calamity of Cinders. No. Perforos, God of the Forge. My goodness. And that will count as a creature entering, and I believe this goes on the bottom of our library. Move to bottom of the library. So we've currently dealt 6 to our opponents. We go to our second main phase. We play out the Clive to then discard our hand and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's sort all of these with lands in the back so we can take a look at our very pretty non-lands in the front here. That's awesome. We have 4 lands plus a Soul Ring, and I believe we have this Thought Vessel here. We can drop the Soul Ring and nothing colorless to play. So I think that then brings us to turn 8, where we could then play another land. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana to work with. Before we actually tap for Defiler of Instinct, I think we actually want to play out our Gratuitous Violence to double up all of our burn to 6 per creature ETB. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go Defiler of Instinct then. So it's going to cost us 1, 2, 3, 4. We are out of red mana, unfortunately, except for the treasure. So then I think if we, let's see, okay, actually, hold on. If we would have sequenced this correctly, we could go, I think we could go Molten Gatekeeper first. Okay, so Molten Gatekeeper first. 1, 2, and then we'll pop the treasure. Then with the Defiler of Instinct entering, we would have Molten Gatekeeper, General Crete, and Perforos all trigger, so that would get 2, 3, 4, plus 4 is another 8. So Defiler of Instinct will deal 8 damage to each of our opponents. And then we can cast, I think we're out of mana here. We are out of mana, unfortunately. So if that already doesn't burn our opponents to death in that main phase, if we go to our second main phase, and the head will trigger for, gosh, I don't know, 30 plus mana. So we could dump Mechanized Warfare, Goblin Chain Whirler, Curse of Opulence, and then honestly, we would probably want to flip Clive just to bury the mana somewhere. Flip card, he'll fight something and then add some mana later, and hopefully the Ifrit will actually die so we can ETB again, because now all we have in our hand is lands. And then next turn, we would be able to Cascade a Volcanic Torrent, and what we get off the Cascade, a Elysium Mortar, unfortunately, pretty useless if it's not overloaded, but at that point, I think we would definitely finish the game by turn 9. So that is my Clive. Let's flip this back so we can actually take a look at Clive properly. Clive Ifrit's dominant commander deck. If you guys enjoyed this Goldfish, leave a like on it. Always appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to check out my other deck techs I made, my other Final Fantasy deck techs include Choco Seeker of Paradise, which you can check out. And I'll be also potentially brewing up a Kefka deck. We will see. I really want to, that commander has made me really interested because yes, you are the arch enemy at the table, but the card advantage that it gives you is just so good. So anyway, that is the Goldfishing Compendium video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you all in the next one.